Hey, welcome back to the channel, and this is my review of Scotland versus France. Finn Russell was named captain for this match, which was pretty interesting, and I'm interested to see how he goes. That might be something that they're going to use in the World Cup. Finn Russell, I feel, always responds better when he has more responsibility in the team, so that's an interesting choice from Gregor Townsend, and definitely has the World Cup in mind. Right from the off, the French players look super relaxed. A lot of young players, looks very different from the team we saw in the Six Nations, but still a lot of experience at club level, and interesting to see how they go against a pretty full strength Scotland side. So there's a bit of scrummaging practice at the start. Scotland seem to want to test themselves against the French pack, which is understandable. Scotland put a few good phases together, and Kinghorn, who I'm super glad to see playing at his best position, I think, which is 15. He makes inroads straight away, and that Scottish back three are looking pretty dangerous right from the start. Scotland put a few phases together, but it's pretty slow ball, to be honest, and eventually the box kick, the dreaded box kick, comes into play, and they kick the ball to the French, and the French produce an electric counter attack and run it 3/4 of the way of the field and get over for the first try of the game. One of the youngsters pops over, and it's a pretty straightforward score, and shows you the importance of keeping the ball in hand. After the restart, France kicked to the Scottish team, and there's a really clumsy challenge from the number 14 from France. And he's lucky really to not get away with being carded there. Bit of a reckless challenge, clumsy, didn't let the guy get up, so he got out of jail there, definitely. And France, when they get a bowling hand, look pretty good, particularly Moefana, the centre, looks really quick off the mark and really dynamic. His running is making all kinds of inroads into the Scottish defence, and they're going to have to keep an eye on him through the match. And so far, it's all France. Scotland are really struggling to get any kind of possession or territory. So it's looking pretty dire for the Scottish team early on, and the French look like they're just going through the motions. And ultimately, they glide down the blind side and just stroll over for a try, really. Good pace, but Scotland are not really producing much of a challenge for this young French team. So it's concerning. If they don't pull their finger out at this point, you can see that the French might embarrass the Scottish at their home field. So not looking good for Scotland. So the Scottish back three, which is a very dangerous back three, possibly the best of the home nations. They give the Scottish side a bit of impetus and go forward, and they are really keeping the Scottish team in the game at the moment. And but the game is kind of petering out to the halftime whistle. France put in a kick for the corner, get a rolling ball, and they get over just before the halftime whistle to score. And at halftime, it's 21-3 to the French. It's big lead to take into the halftime whistle. So Scotland have a lot of soul searching to do, I think, during the halftime break. Halftime kicks off, and Scotland look more up for it. They can't look any less up for it. And again, that back three, the what's his name, Darcy Graham, Van der Merwe, and my favourite Kinghorn, they are looking dangerous every single time they get the ball. And if they can play through those, get them involved, Scotland have a chance to do some damage. Scotland make a nice break, good interplay, forwards and backs, put it through the phases, and Hugh Jones has the opportunity to put Van der Merwe away on the wing, doesn't take it, takes it himself, and it comes back to Russell, who puts in a cross kick. The winger, Darcy Graham, gets a hand on it. I'm not sure if this was a try, but it kind of felt deserved for the effort Scotland had put in, but they could have scored much more simply if they just given Van der Merwe the ball earlier. But the try is awarded, and now it's 21-10 to the French. This half, Scotland's defence is much better, much more dog. They're disrupting the ruck, and they're not giving France the ball so easily, and they're making more of a contest of the collision area, which they completely lost in the first half. So when France do get the ball, Scotland are competing much better. However, just as you feel like Scotland are getting back into the game, Zander Ferguson makes a head contact at a ruck, and play is brought back. And unfortunately for him, he's yellow carded under review, the new system that they've got, which I thought worked pretty well actually. And I don't think it's malicious, but he ends up getting a red card, and Scotland are down to 14 men. So just when you think it could be curtains for the Scottish, they kind of rally. And again, that back three is so important for Scotland. That back three really get Scotland back in the game. And they're looking really strong. Kinghorn and Van der Merwe particularly. And Darcy Graham is really up for it. He's on a try-scoring run at the moment. And they really drag the Scottish team back into the match, even with 14 men. And it's great to see. Scotland empty the bench with 20 minutes to go to inject a bit of energy into the Scottish pack. We worked pretty hard in the second half. And Kinghorn actually gets over for a try, and I was cheering because I think he's just such a great player, the Rolls Royce of the Scottish rugby team. And unfortunately, it's pulled back, and Scotland get the penalty because they were playing an advantage. But it would have been great to see Kinghorn get over for a try there, but not to be. And instead of their heads dropping, Scotland actually pick themselves up and go again. Which is really important at this level, to just, not let your heads drop. Scotland are able to keep the French team under pressure, and a game that started really relaxed and this kind of friendly atmosphere, it's really building up the tension and excitement now, and you can hear the crowd at Murrayfield. If Scotland score at this point, it feels like the lid is going to blow off Murrayfield. And I was getting really excited myself watching it, which is fantastic. And they do score, actually. There's no question this time. Dave Cherry from a rolling maul plonks the ball down over the line. And Scotland are well and truly back in this match. It's 22-21 with 15 minutes to go. So it's all to play for. And game on. Scotland are really playing out of their skins, and you have to remember they have 14 men at this point, but they played much better with 14 than they did 15 in the first half. So they put the French under pressure again, and they cough up a penalty. Finn Russell kicks it over, and it's 25-21. Not long to play now, so is this going to wake the French up? They do finally get their hands on the ball, and when they do get their hands on the ball, they look good, and they're attacking the Scottish defence, but it's pretty resolute and much more aggressive, which I think they really lacked. You have to have an aggressive defence in terms of collision and contesting the ruck and the maul. Scotland are defending pretty well. I'm not sure how it could go at this point. Looks like France could get over. They have a bunch of penalties, kick for the corner, take a scrum. The scrum is not really going in their favour, even with 8 against 7. So Scotland managed to hold out though. So eventually Scotland stifle the French attack, get a turnover and kick it into touch, and it's game over. They win 25-21. And it's amazing, even though this game is kind of a warm-up game, it really didn't feel like that, especially in the second half. I was so excited when Scotland got the win. I was, off my seat, standing up and cheering, which is amazing, really. it's supposed to be just a warm-up game. But I think that's a sign of things to come, maybe, for these warm-up matches that we have this summer. There's a lot to play for. Sides want to test out players, but they also want to get that momentum going, and a big positive result against admittedly a second string French side is going to do wonders, I think, for the Scottish confidence, and they're in that tough group as well with Tonga. So yeah, absolutely fantastic result for Scotland. And yeah, a thoroughly enjoyable match. Really enjoy it. If you haven't watched it, I recommend that you do. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. If you made it this far, please like, subscribe, comment, etc. And I'll see you very soon for the next review. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.